Welcome to our Kill the Deadline software. It in essence performs the function of a to-do manager. So we find that in our day-to-day life we find a lot of disorderliness. So in order to organize the tasks that lay ahead of us, waiting to be executed, we can use this app so that we can organize them systematically and complete them efficiently one after the other. So I would like to introduce the tagline at this juncture by saying that life is too short to be unorganized. With this, we would begin our demonstration. If you look at this, this is the API of our Kill the Deadline software. So we observe that there is a command box in which we can type out the command line interface commands. Whatever you want to do with the KDL can be typed out in this command box, and then you can press the enter or the OK button, both to the same effect, which would execute the command and display the output in the data grid below. Then if you look at the other buttons that are here, we observe that there is a button called an undo and a redo, and as the name itself suggests, it can be used for undoing an action and redoing the undone action in case if you press it by mistake. So this undo is also applicable to all kinds of changes, may it be CLI based changes or GUI based changes, which I will be demonstrating in the subsequent changes which I make and then demonstrate. So if we observe the more options, we find that the more options helps us display a greater range of tabs and buttons. These are hidden in order to ensure that the user who is using this app is not bewildered by this wide array of buttons which he sees. So when you press this, all these buttons are unveiled, and for a more experienced user who would want to use them, these are made hidden, and when he clicks them, they'll be unhidden and he can use these features. So we observe the save as, and as the name suggests, you can use it to save a todo.kdl file at a particular place in your directory by choosing it appropriately. So in this case, I type the file name here, say todo2.kdl. And we also observe that the save as type command over here gives us a .kdl extension. Now what is the difference when it gives us this extension? This ensures that the user is not able to corrupt the input that we load directly into our software. This is because it is encrypted in a particular format which the user would not be able to decrypt and change and thereby crash our program. So it provides a data security. So once we press the save button, it gets saved. Then we observe that we have another button called load. This load button is in order to load a todo.kdl file. Now both the save and load button enforce the import and export of todo.kdl files across different workspaces. For example, if we click the load button, we observe that we can select a to-do file for loading. So if we choose the desktop, for instance, and we have a mysave.kdl file and we open it, in this case because it's 0 bytes, it has no content in it already, but if it has any content, then it's immediately reflected. So we have loaded the file. The next feature is our help. When we click on the help menu, we find a comprehensive help menu which is displayed similar to other existing software solutions, so which gives you a very comprehensive guide of what to do and how to access the to-do manager. This can span from a wide range of novice users to those who are well adept at using the system. So we first observe the welcome message, then the conventions used, then the procedures for installing and uninstalling. So depending upon what you need help regarding, you can click at that particular hyperlink to get the entire help feature associated with that command. Next, we look at the test and demo buttons, which are reserved only for the developers. In this case, when we release it to the producing version, we would be removing those buttons, but in this case, this is to ensure the automated testing and self-demo of the whole software. We also have a sync with Chrome button, which is one of our major features. So when we perform a sync with Chrome option, what it in essence does is we have something known as a Google Chrome extension. So supposing you're working and you open your Gmail and you observe that you have something pending, you have to do something urgently. Maybe you don't have the time to open the app and type it and probably remember it. So what you do is you have your plugin here, which you can click on, the Kill the Deadline, and then you have your dialog box here inside which you can write add, or in this case we have ensured that you need not even have the problem of writing add, so you can just directly write the name of the command. So for example, meeting tomorrow. So and then you press the add. Now we observe that there is a dynamic display underneath as well which says new item is added. Now once you have performed this, you can now say sync with Google Chrome option. Now it gives you the syncing option and you say yes if you want to continue, and once you say yes, you observe that the meeting is displayed here. So this syncing feature reduces a lot of work in terms of opening and accessing the application again and again. Then we have all the tabs, so I will explain them one by one, but of course there is no need to explain in detail because the names themselves are self-explanatory. So we'll first look at the Today tab, which contains all the tasks of today, then the Start, which consists of those tasks which you mark as important. So this is the text box for marking as important. And then we have an 8 to 14 days, then a sometime tab, which is for those tasks for which you don't assign a specified deadline. Then we have the completed tasks, which ensure that once a task is completed, it is put into this list for you to review later. Then we have the expired tasks. Expired tasks are those which probably have overrun their course of deadline. Now, if we observe another thing, when we minimize our app to the desktop, we find that there is a notification which says you have missed 0 deadlines and you have 0 deadlines to meet today. In this case, it's 0 since we have not entered anything and there is no deadline as of now. But it is updated dynamically as and when you enter, which helps to notify you that you have some deadlines missing. We also find that it is minimized to the system tray. This is the icon of the todo.kdl, so you can click it twice to get it in the maximized version again. So we will now visit commands one after the other. Before that, we also observe that once we enter a command, say add meeting tomorrow, we observe that there is a display message which is immediately beneath the command box which says task successfully added. This notification enables the users to know whether the command has been successful or not, other than the display which is being provided. So now we will be visiting the different command line features which are there one by one. So we will first start with the most important one, the add feature. The add feature is highly flexible in the sense it promotes the normal use of English language with the propositions. So it ensures the user a great degree of flexibility and keeps the learning curve very simple. So for example, if I want to add, say add CG2271 meeting on Sunday. So if I give this command, since Sunday is not yet over, it does not, since the time has reached it's over 12:30 as of now, it gives you the date of the next Sunday. So we look at some more commands. This ensures a lot of flexibility which can be revealed by demonstrating the commands. So if I say prepare for CS2103 exam, and I press an enter, we find that it is there in the to-do list, as well as you would expect to find it in the sometime list since you have not given the time. So it is there in the sometime list as well. Then we have an array of commands, but certain commands, like we even facilitate the use of synonymous keywords like do or insert. So if I say do CS2103 tutorial and I press enter, then you can observe that it is present here. So insert is also to the same effect. And now if we observe, we also have an option of incrementally searching whatever you need. Supposing you're searching for meeting. So we type out meeting here and then space it. We observe that once we give the space, we observe all the ones with meeting immediately comes out. Then if I want to make it more specific, I can just say CG2271 meeting. So it gives me this. Now to edit it, it's very simple. It's a GUI based simple editing system. So you can just change it here by saying CG2271 meeting, say at SOC. And you press enter, it gets edited. So you can find it reflected in all the concerned windows. So in the 1 to 7 days, you might find it reflected. So even when you close the application, it is immediately written to the file. Next, we talk about the delete command. The delete command, you use the delete keyword, which is the most commonly and frequently used word as per our analysis. So you can give a search-based delete. We have not made it an index-based delete to ensure a great degree of comfort for the user. So if you type delete space CG, we immediately get the CG2271 task which we have added. So now when we press enter, the task is deleted, as you can observe. So if we give an index-based deletion, then we have designed it in such a way that it will not work because that index is not present here. Then we have a search command. We need not give an explicit search command. We were looking at the search command You need not give an explicit search keyword, but we have enabled that also because there may be a school of users who would want to enter that. So when you start giving search space MEE, it starts shortlisting the meeting ones. So you can thereby search for the different things incrementally as and when you search, as it is enabled in different applications like Google. Then we observe we have the mark and the complete command. The syntax for the mark is MRK, which is of course very simple as it's in the abbreviated form. So you just say mark space and you give, it's a search based mark, so you can just say prepare for CS2103 exam. So it's automatically there. I press enter, we observe that it is marked as complete. Now if you immediately move to the completed tasks, you can observe CS2103 as marked complete, and it immediately shifts to that task dynamically as and when you complete it. Then we have a complete command, which is identical as mark, and an important command, an IMP spaced with whatever this is the name of the command. So supposing I want to say CS2103 tutorial, I want to mark it as important. So I just press enter. So it is marked as important, and now it appears in the starred window. So that would be the demo of the basic CLI commands. Then we have, of course, the undo feature, which enables you to prevent from doing accidental errors on the part of the user. So if we use the Control Z, we have enabled several shortcut key options. If you use the Control Z, we can use the undo command. So if you press Control Z, we observe the last important one has now been unmarked. And if you also shift to that particular window, we see it's no longer present. So this would be the function of Control Z. Control Y can enable you to redo it, and thus the tick appears again. So you can accomplish the same thing by pressing the undo and redo buttons as well, or by typing undo and redo in the command line box as present. So it caters to the range of different users. Maybe they're power users, maybe they use more of buttons, and so it just accommodates a wide range of usages. Then we would now be looking at some other features, which would be, if we observe, we minimize the icon, we have a distinguished icon, and we also observe the help menu. So once these features have been assimilated, you also find that it is extremely flexible and any format of entry is allowed. As I had last shown you, the desktop notifications and several other notifications in the system help you to keep track of the deadlines that you might have missed or that are scheduled for you at future points in time. So thus our app helps you to smoothly facilitate organizing of tasks in a way that is considered simple, easy to use, and quick to master. So that would be the end of our to-do application. Thank you.